Every story appears ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is a story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Hello, thank you for joining us on CoreTV Primetime News, broadcasting live from our Lagos studios. I am Frank Omalape. Tonight, thank you for joining us tonight. President Muhammadu Buhari has described the violence that followed the recent legislative rerun elections in Rivers State as shameful to the nation's democracy. President Buhari expressed this feeling while declaring open the National Executive Committee meeting of the All Progressive Congress National Secretariat. A State House correspondent, Abiola Oluwole, reports that the president maintains institutionalizing free, fair, a credible electoral process devoid of violence in the country will be a major legacy of his administration.
The killings and maiming that enveloped the March 19th legislative rerun elections in Rivers State has continued to be described as a minus by political watchers across the country. The trading of blames by actors in rerun elections over the violent approach have also been condemned by Nigerians. Speaking at the first formal National Executive Committee meeting of his party since assuming office, President Buhari regrets the killing and destruction of property that triggered the Rivers rerun election. He described the act as shameful to the nation's democracy.
Is this state of our political development to remain brutal? I think it's shameful. And as the government, I probably will do something about the next election.
In the same vein, the national chairman of the party and the chairman of the Progressive Governors Forum say the level of violence at the rerun elections is worrisome.
People must not get away with that level of dastardly behavior and must not get away with killings of the most bestial type.
The party frowned at what happened in Rivers State. The party was not quite happy, especially the number of killings that took place. That became an issue of concern, and the need to bring about proper security during the elections.
Bringing perpetrators of Rivers State electoral violence and those before it to book by security agents will go a long way in eliminating political thuggery in the country. From the APC National Secretariat in Abuja, Abiola Oluwole reporting for CoreTV News.
Meanwhile, the national chairman of the All Progressive Congress, John Odigie, says downsizing the members of the party's board of trustees is the major outcome of the resolution of the just concluded National Executive Committee meeting in Abuja. Speaking with the media after the meeting, the APC chairman maintains that the move is necessary in view of the current economic challenges confronting the nation. He also says working off a financial budget for the party is another resolution the National Executive Committee agreed on.
We have set up a committee to look once more into the constitution of the party with a view to streamlining it. More particularly, as the NEC decided to downsize our board of trustees, and that will be looked at in line with all the other constitutional amendments. Do you have a number? No, we don't have any number, but it's going to be seriously downsized.
In the meantime, the People's Democratic Party caucus of the Senate has been meeting to condemn in struck terms happenings resulting from the rerun elections in Rivers State. It is saying that the Independent National Electoral Commission should, as a matter of urgency, release the outstanding result in Rivers State. Our correspondent Jamila Fegwa has more.
The caucus says it has reviewed the decision of the party's NEC and has agreed to the timetable of the party's Congress, which remains sacrosanct. It says the caucus is sending a delegation to Rivers State with a view to congratulating the governor on the party's victories.
We are hopeful that INEC should, as a matter of urgency, issue certificates to the House members whose results have been announced, and then announce those ones that are already collected, which we know are in their possession. So this is the position of this caucus.
The caucus is also calling on INEC to immediately reschedule the Imo North senatorial rerun elections without further delays.
The idea of cancelling the elections should not even be considered because of the human and material cost. More so when, from our own findings, elections took place in all the wards in the state. So what is remaining now is for those results already collected be announced.
President Buhari to support the ongoing commission of inquiries into the killings in Rivers, it passed a vote of confidence on the chairman, Ali Modu Sharif. The political class shows big tolerance for multi-party democracy in the country to discourage political impunity in all ramifications. Jamil Afegbo, CoreTV News, Abuja.
Away from there now, the recent killings of 9 people in Agatu local government areas of Benue State, allegedly perpetrated by herdsmen, have been seriously condemned by the Inspector General of Police. The Inspector General of Police, Solomon Arase, visited the area where he assessed the extent of damage caused during the clash and the impact on the Agatu people of the state. Based on his assessment and coupled with the logistical requirement, the IGP immediately deployed 2 units of police mobile force to the area to reinforce the unit on ground, while additional police operational vehicles were also sent to the Commissioner of Police in the State Command to raid operational support. The Inspector General of Police reaffirmed that the Nigerian Police Force is working in conjunction with the state government and will do everything within its powers to fish out and bring to book all those involved in these and other similar killings, stressing that an end must be put to this endless cycle of impunity. And now Taraba Police Command has confirmed the arrest of 2 wanted Boko Haram commanders in the state. One of the commanders, Ali Audu, was arrested in Tela Gasol local government area, while the other, Abdul Mamuni Abdullahi, was nabbed in Bali local government area. The Commissioner of Police, Shaba Al-Khali, says the 2 men have been handed over to the military in Yobe State. Al-Khali says Audu was arrested on February 22 in Tela and transferred to Yobe the following day, while Mr. Abdullahi was arrested in Bali on March 5 and transferred to Yobe military base on March 7. The Islamic Movement in Nigeria says it has withdrawn completely from appearance before the Commission of Inquiry set up by the Kaduna State government to look into the clashes between the Nigerian Army and the IMN in Zaria last December. Lead counsel to the IMN, Festus Okoye, says the legal team will not allow itself to be used to legitimize a position and agenda against the leader of the movement, Sheikh Zazaki. Kaduna State correspondent tells us more in this report from our studios.
The Islamic Movement in Nigeria is given a condition under which it would file its case to the Commission of Inquiry. The condition is that the group be allowed access to Sheikh Ibrahim El-Zakzaki, who is the leader of the IMN and who doubles as a spokesperson and custodian of its properties. The lead counsel to the IMN, Festus Okoye, while briefing journalists in Kaduna on the decision of the child group to quit the Commission of Inquiry, says it has become imperative since all efforts aimed at getting proper briefing from the leader of the movement met a brick wall.
We cannot, in good conscience, continue to represent a client whom we are yet to see and whose whereabouts are shrouded in mystery. We cannot, in good conscience, continue to pretend to represent a client that we are not sure of his state of health, considering the fact that he was shot severally by the Nigerian military before he was taken away.
A 23-year-old Shuahaila, a daughter of Sheikh Ibrahim El-Zakzaki, says her parents were shot and 2 of her brothers were killed during the incident. She and some of her siblings were also detained for 4 days by the security agency. Shuhaila calls on the federal government to release her parents and other members of Islamic Movement in Nigeria.
I mean, if someone was supposed to be arrested, it's normally something that, authorities show up and they tell you what is going on and then they take you. And then this is not the normal case. We were in our house, a normal day, everything was going on fine, and then they came on shooting and they killed as many people as they could.
Islamic Movement in Nigeria says Nigerians are entitled to the truth as regards what happened in Zaria and Kaduna, and will explore alternative means and avenues of letting Nigerians know what really transpired.
No fewer than 3 persons were fatally wounded on Thursday, with scores still missing following an early morning clash between the Urobo people of Alaja and Ijo of Ogbe Ijo communities in Udu and Warri southwest local government areas of Delta State. The 2 communities have been involved in incessant clashes for decades as they are locked in a boundary disputes that predates the Rijo-Shekeri War that lasted from 1997 to 2004. And now the Senate President Bukola Saraki has lost a bid to stop his trial at the Code of Conduct Tribunal sitting in Abuja over an alleged false asset declaration charges preferred against him by the federal government. Chairman of the tribunal, Danladi Umaru, in a ruling dismissed Saraki's application, challenging the jurisdiction of the tribunal to continue with the case. Our correspondent, Basilo Kafo, has more in this report. Well, we'll bring you that report in our source bulletin. The former governor of Benue State, Gabriel Susman, who is standing trial for corruption charges at the Federal High Court in Abuja, is now free to travel abroad for medical checkup. Justice Ahmed Mohammed made an order allowing the former governor to travel after his counsel filed a motion asking the court to release his international passport to enable him back on medical trip.
The former governor Suswan appears in court again for trial, but this time he is asking the court for the release of his international passport to enable him travel abroad for medical purposes. The prosecution counsel, Rotimi Jacobs, did not oppose the motion, but however prayed the court to grant the request during the holiday period so that Suswan can return back on time to face his trial. Trial judge Justice Ahmed Mohammed consequently granted the request while ordering Suswan to return back to the country before the next adjourned date to make himself available for trial. Suswan and his former finance commissioner, Omodachi Okolobia, were alleged to have diverted 31 billion naira of the sale of shares owned by Benue State government for their personal use. But they pleaded not guilty to the 9-count charge of fraud and financial misappropriation preferred against them by the EFCC. The matter has been adjourned till April 28 and 29, 2016 for continuation of trial.
Also, the former chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Ibrahim Lamode, has secured a court order restraining the Senate and the EFCC, the Inspector General of Police Solomon Arase, from arresting him. The court order was issued by Justice Gabriel Kolawole of the Abuja Division of the Federal High Court. Lamode was accused of diverting 1 trillion naira, which was recovered from various suspects for his personal use during his tenure as the FCC chairman. Meanwhile, the federal government has also set up a panel to probe the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission and the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission. And our 2 newly appointed high courts and 1 Qadi of the Sharia Court of Appeal have been sworn in by Taraba State Governor. 2 of them are of the High Court, which a Grand Qadi has also been sworn in for the Sharia Court. Uda Godwin completes the report now.
The judges and the Qadi took their oaths of office before the State Chief Judge, Justice Josephine Tuktor, watched Governor Ishaku presiding. They were charged to ensure nepotism and uphold fairness in the discharge of their duties as they are custodians of justice, a balancing system in the society, and the last hope of the people.
By the will of God, you are entrusted people of the state and indeed the country have entrusted you with a special duty to do justice, to be fair to all, and above all, to fear God.
Meanwhile, the judges are optimistic in their balance and fair discharge of duties to the people as they will uphold the confidence reposed on them.
I want to assure you that we shall do our best to carry out our duties without fear or favor and in accordance with what we have just subscribed to.
Speedy delivery of justice is the expectation of people to judicial officers. Udwa Godwin, CoreTV News, Jalingo.
You're watching CoreTV Primetime News. Still to come after the break, the Nigeria Labour Congress and its counterparts, the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria, is setting a force of a serious showdown with Kaduna State Governor. We'll tell you details after this break.
Mommy, more. Where would I be without you? Now you be my best friend. Now you be my sister. Now you be my mentor, and you are still my mama. Mama na kena kate. Kibani doya de wake. Mama no lazy. You help me reach my peak in mama. Now you wash my infant head. Oh, everything for you I go do, mama.
Show your sweet and caring mother how much she means to you. Celebrate her with the special Peak Packs. Peak, it's in you.
Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on Digi 360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.
If you just join us, this is CoreTV Primetime News broadcasting live from our Lagos studios. A reminder of our top stories now. For more stories, you can also visit our social media platforms like our Facebook page is facebook.com/CoreTV News. You can also follow at CoreTV News NG. Also subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/CoreTV. Leave your space, the news. Now the Senate on West State passed a 2016 appropriation bill and reduced the budget size from the initial 6.07 trillion naira presented to the Federal Parliament by President Muhammadu Buhari on December 23rd, 2015 to 6.06 trillion, a difference of 17 billion naira. With the slash made on the budget, will they meet the yearning and expectation of Nigerians? That's the question. On our flashy program, analysts on the show will examine the details of the budget. The details now.
To the passage of 2016 budget has been contentious ever since President Muhammadu Buhari laid the budget before a joint section of the National Assembly. The budget has been a sore point for this administration. However, with the passage of 2016 budget into law, analysts on our flashy program Code Digest share their perception on the breakdown of the budget.
I think we should have been thinking about that line, because what is very, very important, it is not possible for everybody to go into agriculture. But what is very, very important is to encourage our youths to want to leave the city to go into the villages and rural areas to go and practice agriculture.
What we need to be doing now is to be looking at mechanized farming on a mega scale for big corporations and big companies and those who are already in agri to go into it to get the kind of food we want.
They also enjoin the federal government to ensuring total implementation of the allocation to different sectors.
Well, the National Assembly is telling us that the welfare of the National Assembly is more important than education, agri, health, all combined together. It's ridiculous.
We hope for Nigerian leaders to know that times have changed and times will continue to change. The era of, oh, we just do it and nobody is going to do anything is over. I think what the summary of you has said is that perhaps we might not blame the president per se because he cannot do it on alone.
Callers on the show also share their views.
Right from the inception, the bill has had some discrepancies, some problems. Until today, the bill is still going through, problems. Look at the budget, education. It's simple because their children does not school in our country. That's why they can handle education with, any way they like it.
The problem with Nigeria is that we don't have the power to say no. We don't have that pressure group. That is because you cannot put chicken and beer or wine in somebody's mouth and the person he will remove it. So you will be the one to say no, this enough is enough.
With the ratification of the budget by the National Assembly, it is expected that the federal government will swing into action of ensuring prompt implementation in order to ameliorate challenges Nigerians are facing.
And now the Nigerian Labour Congress, NLC, and its counterparts, the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria, TUC, is setting up for a serious showdown with Kaduna State Governor Nasiru El-Rufai for insisting to go on with staff verification exercise in the state. The union is describing the action of the governor as anti-democratic and is calling on Kaduna workers to ignore the governor's directive by refusing to fill the verification form. President of the Nigerian Labour Congress, Ayuba Waba, says such directive is discriminative and has violated workers' fundamental human rights.
Ayuba Waba maintains that the organized labor is committed to saving workers from undemocratic and anti-worker policies of the state government. The union is also ordering Governor El-Rufai to pay the 9 months outstanding salaries of workers in the state.
The fact is that verification has been ongoing for the past 9 months. Yes. And we are told what has been happening is to use the verification process to delay the payment of salary and also pay few workers and say that the verification is still going. We say enough is enough to this process. Yes.
Former Vice President of the Nigeria Labour Congress, Comrade Issa Aremu, says after a series of verification by the El-Rufai administration which led to the death of many civil servants, the state government wants to continue with another exercise aimed at breaking the ranks of the organized labor in the state.
For El-Rufai, it seems one good turn does not deserve another. Yes. And he's trying to pay back goodwill with a bad policy. I think Nigerian workers have the capacity to recall any governor who is not serving the workers that elected them among other people that elected them into office.
The union promises to protect the rights of workers in the country, insisting that no reasonable government would deny workers of their fundamental rights to belong to a union.
Now let's turn our attention to southwest in Osun State, where the management of Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, and staff unions are at loggerheads over the selection of a candidate for the position of the Vice Chancellor of the institution. Members of the Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, OAU chapter, and the non-academic staff unions worked around the institution on a protest calling on President Muhammadu Buhari to dissolve the school's governing council. And now Edo State Governor Adams Oshiomhole is seeking differential payment and tuition fees and other fees payable by students at all levels. Oshomole, while on a courtesy visit to the National University's Commission's office in Abuja, says this will make education available and affordable to the poor. Our correspondent Bukola Feni report is presented from our studio.
The governor says majority of wealthy individuals sponsor their children's education abroad, spending huge amount of foreign exchange. He says these resources can be used to transform the economy and generate revenue. The governor also laments the decay of infrastructure in most government schools in the country. He urges the proprietors of private institutions to ensure that the quality of students they bring out is employable in the labor market. He was, however, silent on why the state needs another state university, despite having the Ambrose Ali University Epuma and the University of Benin within the state.
I believe that the future of our country lies in the quality of our human capital. For too long, Nigerians and governments after government, military and over since 1999 civilians, we are quick at pointing out that we are the giant of Africa.
The Executive Secretary of the National Universities Commission says government should invest more in education at all levels.
I am saying that, just like the Marshall Plan. John Marshall, in the commencement exercise in Harvard University in 1947, he unfolded the Marshall Plan to resuscitate part of Europe after the World War II.
He urges stakeholders in the sector to ensure that the foundation is right from the early stages, especially at the formative stage. The new Edo University in Yamun was awarded certificate to commence operation by the Commission in the next academic session.
And now young people have been challenged to maximize the opportunity presented in the virtual space called Internet in order to curb unemployment and grow the economy. The Internet features various social media platforms that have created a workable space for many to showcase business ideas, hence the call on Nigerian youth in particular to utilize and create their own environment rather than wait for the government. Our correspondent Sarah Yeku was at a capacity building forum for young individuals seeking employment in Lagos. Her reports now.
Unemployment is one major problem President Buhari's administration intends to combat. But 11 months after assuming duties, even graduates still grapple to reel this dividend of democracy.
The government has a role to play because we have more graduates, or we have more unemployment than the jobs that they have to offer. So you see people going to school, and after suffering and everything, you come out from school, there are no jobs.
Majorly, the Nigerian educational sector. I think that the educational sector in Nigeria needs to do more to ensure that when people graduate, they are ready for the workplace.
The private sector is not leaving all to the government to find means of gainfully engaging Nigerians.
Instill in the consciousness, of young people the importance of information communication technologies in the 21st century.
Certification also come in handy, in addition to entrepreneurial skills.
Skill is more important presently, because even those that have certification, there are no ready-made job available.
Over 50 CVs submitted at this one event. This shows that Nigerian youth are eager to get jobs in their various disciplines. Still, the responsibility lies with every young person to get certified and have skills in their various disciplines. Sarah Ayeku, CoreTV News, Lagos.
And our medical experts are calling on the Plateau residents to ensure their children are immunized against the dread polio disease. While speaking with our correspondent in Jos, they said although the nation has been declared polio-free, it is not out of the woods yet.
According to the state officer for immunization, Sani Jugu, the polio immunization exercises should not be taken lightly by any parent due to its impending dire consequence.
Opium cough, it helps the child, it prevents the child from getting paralyzed. We have to build on our, we are not yet completely free.
The government provides the vaccine, and local governments and other government workers, they are the health providers
for the children.
The medical doctor from Plateau's Specialist Hospital, Bisha Stephen, said the lack of cooperation from parents had been responsible for the disease in the country and urged all to ensure that their children are immunized.
It's important that we talked about it or we address it because one, polio can kill a child. Two, polio can leave a child with deformities.
The second round of polio vaccination, which is expected to last 5 days, has kick-started in Plateau State.
And now the Standard Organization of Nigeria is partnering with the National Youth Service Corps to create awareness in a bid to mitigate against the production and consumption of substandard products in Plateau State and the nation in general. The details.
The state coordinator of SON, Musa George, said the collaboration has become necessary due to the rampant production and consumption of illicit and substandard products in Plateau State, adding that the 5-kilometer rally with the Corps members also aimed at sensitizing the public to patronize made-in-Nigerian goods.
The program will affect lives of the people on the plateau. So what we are doing with the corpers today is to sensitize them on the effect of substandard products and why the people on the plateau should patronize made-in-Nigerian goods.
A leader amongst the Corps member, Ada Paul, admonished youth in the state to desist from the consumption of illicit drugs which are capable of derailing their future. All the Corps members carried placards urging the government of the day to provide employment for its teeming youth.
This thing is tagged like in Plateau States, they used to they abuse drugs, the young guys is drink and all that. Well, the movement is just for us to make Plateau States to let them know that there are some substandard products which is not good for consumption.
Plateau State is said to be a fertile ground for substandard products, which include electrical fittings and drugs resulting in fire disasters, and that ends the need for the sensitization rally.
You're watching CoreTV Primetime News. Still to come ahead of the news, the World Health Organization charges countries across the world to renew fight against the dreaded disease, tuberculosis. Details after this break.
Thinking of how to send goods to anywhere? Think All-Seal Mail Services. Our courier and logistics is world class. What of your travel needs? All-Seal Travel and Tours can handle everything from ticketing, hotel reservation, and more. All-Seal Mail and All-Seal Travel and Tours, subsidiaries of Orchard Security and Investment Limited, All-Seal. Visit us today.
CoreTV News now live on all Androids.
Welcome to CoreTV Primetime News.
Download CoreTV News app from your Play Store. Click on the menu to see all our top stories from politics, sports, business, foreign news and live TV to watch us live on your mobile.
I want to know why I should be believing them.
You can also click on video to see all our YouTube videos. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
Well, thank you for coming through. Outside Nigeria now, a UN court has found Radovan Karadzic guilty of genocide and crimes against humanity over his role in the Bosnian War, sentencing him to 40 years jail. The former Bosnian Serb leader faced 11 charges arising out of 1992 to 1995 conflict, which claimed the lives of more than 100,000 people and displaced over 2.2 million others. The International Criminal Tribunal for the former Yugoslavia, based in The Hague, found him guilty of 10 of those charges, including genocide. It found Karadzic to be responsible for orchestrating one of the worst atrocities on European soil since World War II, including the 1995 massacre of also almost 8,000 Muslim men and boys in Srebrenica. And now an Israeli soldier has been detained after a video emerged showing him apparently shooting a Palestinian in the head as he lay wounded and motionless on the ground. The Palestinian was soon declared dead. He was one of the two attackers who had earlier stabbed another Israeli soldier in the West Bank city of Hebron. The Israeli military has referred to the shooting as a grave breach of Israel Defense Forces idea of values. Officials said the Israeli soldiers stabbed earlier was in stable condition. At least 29 Israelis have been killed in a wave of stabbing, shooting or car ramming attacks by Palestinians or Israeli Arabs since October. And our Belgian's Interior and Justice Minister offered to resign on Thursday over the failure to track an Islamic State militant, Ibrahim el-Baroui, who was expelled twice by Turkey as a suspected fighter last year and who blew himself up at Brussels airport this week. Ibrahim el-Baroui was one of 3 identified suspected suicide bombers who hit the airport and the metro train, killing at least 31 people and wounding some 270 on Tuesday in the worst attack in Belgian history. At least one another man seen with them on the airport security cameras is on the run, and the 5th suspected bomber filmed in the metro attack may be dead or alive. Interior Minister Jan Jambon and Justice Minister Quen Gaines tendered their resignation to Prime Minister Charles Michel, who asked them to stay on, and the security lapses in his country that is home to the European Union and NATO have drawn international criticism of an apparent reluctance to tackle Islamist radicals effectively. And now the World Health Organization urges countries across the world to renew their commitment and the fight against tuberculosis to avert the prediction of the disease, claiming the lives of 1.5 million people. This call is coming as the world enters the era of the Sustainable Development Goals, which has the target of ending TB by 2030. Who says it is committed to continuing its work with countries and partners around the world to address these challenges and to accelerate collective action to end the tuberculosis epidemic. Altogether, about 4,000 people die globally every day as a result of this preventable, curable disease. And now let's take a look at some sports stories now.
Our style, and that's what he delivered.
And our Super Eagles interim coach Samson Siasia says he's sure the Super Eagles are ready to beat the Pharaohs of Egypt convincingly when they clash tomorrow, March 25, at the Ahmadu Bello Stadium in Kaduna. Siasia says the players' performance during training sections have spurred him to more actions, insisting that nothing will stop the Super Eagles from victory in Kaduna State. Speaking during a media briefing, Siasia says Chelsea midfielder John Mikel Obi is now the new captain of the Super Eagles.
For me, I'm so proud that he has come out to do, and I believe the right thing to do. Since when we play today, it's by hierarchy. You come first, becomes by his coach and captain. What he did to Mikel was very, very wrong. So he wants to correct it right. And that's why I thank you all the voting system. And from tomorrow's match, Mikel will be the
Samson Siasia calls on all Nigerians to come out and cheer the Eagles to victory, as this is a must-win game. Victor Mercies, Odioni Gallo, Ahmed Musa, and Kelechi Henacho are also part of the team, and the technical crew is full of confidence that the Egyptians will be beaten.
Level for us to do what we're supposed to do. We need to play to instruction. Tactics-wise, we have very, very sound. We know where they're coming from. We don't want to worry too much about the Egyptians. We want to worry about ourselves to make sure we create those chances to score. We want to make Nigerians proud. This is a new Super Eagles team. I understand how you people feel about it from our Super Eagles team. This is a new one, and trust me, these guys are ready to play for us.
Mikel, who made his debut for the Eagles in 2005, described Ahmed Musa as a wonderful professional, commending his courage to surrender the captaincy to him, being the senior and oldest player in the team.
I want to promise you that I will not let you down. I will make sure I lead this team to my best ability. Also for the game as well, tomorrow, game that we know we can win. I think with the quality that we have in the team, I think we have a very good chance of winning this game tomorrow, and also going down to Egypt and also making sure we win and get the 3 points as well. So thank you all, and I will do my best as a captain and hopefully this team to a greater height.
The Super Eagles coach also warned players against any form of distractions as the match is crucial. Meanwhile, former Super Eagles coach Sunday Olise is expected to give his own version to why he suddenly quit his post with just a month to the crucial African qualifiers against Egypt. Sports Minister Solomon Arase has insisted he be part of the committee's hearing and will be in attendance in the morning. The minister had ordered that Olise not to be sacked when the Nigerian Football Federation President Amaju Pinnick presented a recommendation of the technical committee that the coach be fired. NFF have maintained that this briefing is a major distraction as the Super Eagles are preparing for a must-win African qualifier against Egypt. And now, footballer Adam Johnson has been jailed for 6 years for grooming and sexual activity with a girl aged 15. Sentencing the ex-Sunderland player, George Jonathan Rose, told him he had abused a position of trust and caused his victim severe psychological harm. Judge Rose told Johnson he had engaged in sexual activity with her in his Range Rover knowing she was under 16 and that the girl now suffers threats and thousands of abusive remarks on social media. And Netherlands Ajax and Barcelona legend Jurgen Kroosing finally passes on at the age of 68. Cruyff, a three-time Ballon d'Or winner, had been battling lung cancer but fell positive after undergoing treatment last month. However, the football legend died today peacefully in Barcelona, surrounded by his family. Well, and that's a wrap with sport now. Just before we go, a recap of our major headline now. Well, it has been a show tonight on CoreTV Primetime News. I am Frank Omalape on behalf of the entire news production crew. Have a good night rest.